You want to start when it hits, I don't know, 23? That would be 2:35.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully people will roll in.
Yeah.
We have our pusher back there.
2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Get to work.
Eric's doing crowd control.
That's comforting.
There's like no inner dialogue with this.
That's it. You're right.
It's all outside voices.
That's it. Yeah. Hmm?
Oh,
Mm.
technology.
He is actually pulling people. This is the one.
Oh,
Yeah.
he'll do it. He'll
Mhm.
do it.
Yeah,
All right.
like I said, it was 10 people this morning, and then it filled up
Yeah.
because I
Just gotta
felt,
wait for transition.
yes.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Are you making offers
I
out
think he's
there?
paying people.
You bring some dollar bills.
Oh, that is funny.
I hear.
Did he say AI? We're not talking about AI.
I don't know. I think they're giving away something.
He's probably saying that the margarita machine's in the back
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Afternoon, everybody.
Thanks for coming on Friday afternoon.
Mhm. Oh, now it's filling up. Did the man at the door make any promises if you attend here for anything? He's a good recruiter. He's a good sales guy.
We found them on 8th Avenue.
Yeah, that's right. But if he said there's a margarita machine in here, he's not correct. We got to get that pulled at the last minute.
Fake news.
Okay.
Thumbs up.
All right, we should probably get going.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
go.
yeah. So good afternoon. This panel is Optimizing Engagement, Lead Nurturing, and Pipeline Growth. We're going to discuss boosting your funnel performance by embedding data and analytics at every stage of demand generation. This afternoon, we have joining us Sarah Madden. Sarah currently heads North American Growth Marketing and Communications at Box Insurance, a global insurtech company that was recently acquired by Zurich Insurance. Then we have Paul Bell. Paul is president of 33Across, a market leader in supply-side data activation for financial services. And I'm Ian Wright. I manage the IXI network, which leverages about $30 trillion in actual deposit and investment account information. We use this data to create audiences to help marketers grow their assets under management and also their deposits under management. So we've got a marketer, we've got someone who's well-versed in curated media, and then I'm versed in data. So hopefully we'll have three different perspectives on demand generation to kind of give a richer perspective. And I would say I'm kind of serving double duty. Unfortunately, our moderator became ill, so I'll also join in with some of the panel discussion, but we are leveraging his questions, which are very good. And finally, it's a small room. If you have a question or a follow-up that you'd like to ask us when we're in the sort of the dialogue portion of the session, please just raise your hand. Feel free to join in, but we'll still have some time at the end for a regular Q&A. Okay? Let's get started with a couple of framing questions. First, what are the biggest challenges you're running across in your role as it relates to lead generation? And Paul, let's have you start off.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for people who showed up on a Friday afternoon. Appreciate it. So at 33Across, our job is creating pools of prospects and customers to then sort of be the top of the funnel of demand generation. I think the biggest problem we often see is there's so much data, there's so much media out there, and the problem is actually curating it to the point where it actually becomes actionable, right? So we're at the stage of, especially with AI, where so much information and data can be ingested. There's so many different media channels like CTV, app, web, digital out of home, audio. There's just a tremendous amount of choices. So the actual struggle for many brands, agencies, advertisers is just carrying that down to a manageable supply source for their demand path.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll jump in on this one too. For us, when we work with our clients, it's really conversion quality. So conversion quantity definitely is a metric that they're interested in and want to make sure they track very closely. But there's also the journey after someone converts, and do they become a best customer, or especially maybe in insurance or in credit and lending, do they maybe miss their first payments? They all of a sudden, yes, they're a customer, but they default. So they were converted, but it wasn't really a quality conversion. So really the gains that you hope to get from that that quantity rate aren't realized. So we work with our clients to try to see how can we start measuring the quality afterwards, because you really want to hit the ROI and start helping the other departments that you're working with hit their success metrics for that year. Next question for framing. In terms of challenges, when you look at the current demand generation funnel, where does the data actually break down? Is it in identifying the right prospects, understanding their behavior once they engage, or connecting marketing activity to what sales ultimately closes? And I think we're going to shift this one to Paul, right, or to you,
Oh,
Sarah?
no, it was
Sarah.
to me. Yeah, for us, so we sell cyber insurance through a broker channel. So in Canada, it's to a retail broker, and in the US, through a wholesale broker. So just for context, it's more B2B. But for us, where the data breaks down is, unfortunately, we don't have an API that's going to our marketing CRM. So we have a PAS, policy administrative system for US. Then we have a broker portal, which is an end-to-end broker portal where brokers can actually go and quote in Canada. So, and then we have other tools like, Amazon QuickSight, we can pull stuff to HubSpot and vice versa. So it's not in real time. So it's a challenge. But I think for us, the biggest opportunity where the data falls is really going down the funnel. We don't have a top of funnel problem. It's the bottom of the funnel. So it's closed lost and closed won, right? And figuring out what are those reasons. Our underwriters, they would be responsible, they create the quote after the submission comes in. And, we have a whole slew of data of what type of, where did the quote come from? Who made it? What industry? Did we decline it? But then there's no tracking of we made a quote, but we didn't close it, right? So why? Is it a product thing? Was it a service thing, right? Was it because, that broker has a better relationship with our competitor, right? So that is something we need to dig into. And then if we have those insights, even though marketing doesn't own that piece of the funnel, I think marketing can influence and then play it back into the top of the funnel, right? To bring in better quality leads and address things that might have not been addressed at the bottom of the funnel at the top of the funnel.
Yeah, well said. Next question. A lot of marketers are drowning in signals and data such as website behavior, content engagement, intent data, and psychographic data. What's actually predictive of a deal closing, and how have you separated signal from the noise? I think we're going to draw this back to you again, Sarah.
Yeah, so we're a scale up. I have a very small team. I have 2 reports and a small army of contractors, as I like to say. So for us, the signals, I'm not drowning in signals, right? I can't. It's not possible. So what we've done is we've implemented lead scoring recently. So I think, and it's live as of last week, so it's really, really fresh. So what we're going to do now is work with sales. Hey, a lead comes in, you're going to rate them and you're going to score them, and then now we have our definitions aligned. What constitutes a lead? What's an MQL? What's an SQL? What's an SQO? So for those early days, and then what the hope is, in the signals where we did the lead scoring, what we did is, it's hey, website visit, webinar sign up, webinar attended, click to paid ads. So we have all that type of stuff. So once we start getting the feedback of how those leads are converting, then it can go back and be okay, well, hey, this person got a high score because they're really engaged with email, right? Oh, but they're really bad converters, right? So we'll be able to cycle back with that.
Yeah. And one thing I'll add on too, when we work with our clients too, we try to focus on data quality too. Like you said, you've got enough data, but is the data really predictive? Is it sound data? Do you have enough coverage with it? Do you have a data set that you can actually use and leverage and have confidence when you get that result? That result is actually predictive. and it's reaching you into the right direction. Getting an answer is fantastic, but if the answer is based on bad data, it's probably going to be actually counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish. So,
I'd also just point out from just a noise perspective,
yeah.
One of the things we found just a lot of success with is just moving further upstream, right? So what happens a lot of time with demand generation and just sort of filling that funnel is you have to listen to everything, right? And to your point, like there's no shortage of signal, right? And now with AI and LLMs, I mean, you can ingest it all, right? But then it's how quickly can you optimize on those signals? So what we have found a lot of success with is going actually upstream in the application of our filters and our data, right? So going to the supply source so that when the the traffic, when the users, when the audience actually comes to you to then start to fill your demand funnel, it's already isolated to your ideal customer set, right? And then you're doing the optimization on your customer set, and you're doing your optimization then at that point sort of starting on second base, right? So just sort of like you're going to have to listen, can you eliminate as much noise as possible? And what we're finding is where in your supply chain you apply the filters makes a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, moving towards nurture and engagement. In financial services, you're often nurturing prospects for 6, 12, or maybe even longer than 18 months. How do you maintain relevance and engagement without burning out your audience or content engine? Paul?
Yeah. So I think, a financial institution, a bank, brokerage house, insurance company, right? They know their customer in and out, inside their walls or on their website, right? So for us, when we're sitting on top of the funnel to feed the demand funnels, we look at enrichment as a big factor here. So part of that enrichment is what are they doing before they get to your walls, before they get to your site, right? So 3, 6, 18 months beforehand, right? And if you're just relying on your own first-party data, you're going to be extremely limited there, right? So when does your nurturing start? Does it start when they virtually walk in or physically walk in, or does the nurturing start even before that? You're leveraging your enrichment data from third parties.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also understanding how their needs are going to change after you've started the nurturing. They might have been in a spot over here, and all of a sudden they might have a life event, depending upon what products you're selling. And the next best product for them or right-sizing a product for them could be totally different after 6 or 12 months. You have to also be flexible, to be able to get new signals and new data in during that journey.
Yeah, if I could add as well, like I would say, like we're B2Bs, and I haven't started with enrichment yet, but definitely I'm going to. But with our brokers, like I would say that extremely highly segmented, right? Like it's not going to burn them out. Like if you have, maybe you only have a list of like 60 people or 150 people, but that could be worth it, right? Don't like underestimate the size, right? Because there could still be value there.
Yeah, like that quantity versus quality again. Yeah. Okay. Turning to sales and marketing alignment, we talk about alignment, but in practice, what's the one metric or dashboard that's actually gotten your sales team to trust marketing's view of pipeline quality? Sarah, I think we're going to turn to you.
Yeah, I'm lucky, I guess. We have our sales team and our marketing team, our demand gen team, we're like this. So we don't have any drama. Let's say I would say there's a little more drama with like the brand people versus the demand gen people. So that's like a separate conversation. But what I would say is, so when we started with this lead scoring project, which we got going in June, and then the company got acquired July, right? So I'm just resurfacing back into that stuff, which is exciting. But with our first list, we said, hey, okay, we created the lead scoring, we ran it, we said only relevant for people that have been active with us for 6 months, or that has had some type of activity within the past 6 months. We ran the first set, and I think we had gotten like, 300 or 400, and we were like, this is too many people, like we need to tighten it up. So we did tighten it up, and then we had a list of about 140 brokers that were active with us in the past 6 months to hit the score of 100. And then I said to our sales team, I said, hey, can you look, this is our model, we're trying to validate it, can you look through it? And does this meet our target audience criteria? And 70% met. So that was like a huge validation, because I was kind of hoping for
Yeah.
70%, and once we're live, hopefully it'll get to maybe 80. But that was an actual proof case that yes, we're bringing in the right people, and they are the people that you want here.
Yeah, nothing. Good. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. I think nothing also.
Scratch on the nose.
Yeah, we could we could say that probably in any relationship, as you start to build up trust and bring someone into that conversation, so they can see the benefit of what you're doing and build those data points up over time. That okay, nothing breeds success like success, right? You give them some good leads, and over time they're seeing the value. They're going to start coming to you, and they're going to start wanting to provide feedback to also make that process more successful. So communication, I think, is also very key.
Yep.
Turning to technology and AI. AI, wow. What's your tech stack for execution and measurement? And this is the one I think, Paul, you're gonna take for us.
Yeah. So I can talk about our tech stack, and we sort of break it into three buckets. We have our signal bucket, we have our identity spine bucket, and then we have our distribution. So we look at our signal as all the different data points that we listen to. Some of it's O&O, some of it's with best-in-class partners, and all that's coming in, right? And then it comes into our spine, and our spine is basically acts as a DMP, a data management platform that's starts to make sense of all those signals, but also starts to look at all the different identifiers, offline identifiers, online identifiers, and starts to crosswalk the identity across multiple devices, browsers, households, right, to sort of get full scale. And then finally, from a distribution standpoint, it's an infrastructure play. It's all about what integrations, tech integrations do you have, right? You can have, everybody knows in this room, you can have the best data in the world, but if you cannot activate it, if you can't push it to the right place, it's sort of empty. So we, from a tech stack perspective, have to be integrated into from a programmatic standpoint, every SSP, every DSP, every data exchange. So if a bank, a brokerage firm, insurance company wants to activate this data that's been enriched in multiple ways and expanded from an identity standpoint, we have to live where they trade from a media perspective, right? So that's how our stack is set up.
Yeah, very extensive and complicated.
Yeah. Yeah, ours is much simpler. We
Yeah.
use HubSpot for the most part, but where we've been dipping our toes in more is like the HubSpot enterprise sales functions in terms of demand generation. So leveraging like sales sequences, which we get like really good results for. Like they perform much better than marketing emails. And then you can do things with like customizing a document. So now with HubSpot, you can buy credits, and then so you can get more of that enriched data. So you can see, like, even if they're not in your system, oh, well, I give my credits, and now I can see who actually came to this landing page, oh, who actually looked at this PDF, right? So they're starting to add some of that stuff in, which we'll need to start leveraging as we kind of go more down the funnel, right, where we want to get more specific.
Yeah, so sort of on your journey right now.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So as buyer behavior shifts with AI-powered research for inbound marketing, LLM-driven research, how is that changing where and how you show up in the buyer journey? Are you rethinking channel strategy or content distribution? And Paul, back to you on this one.
Yeah. I mean, I think overall, we all know AI is not going anywhere. It's expanding. We think about our own habits, think about what we're doing at work. It is here, and will have its pros and cons. From a digital marketing perspective, targeting, measurement, we view AI as an internal resource and an external tactic. We don't view it as a strategy, right? So, for example, in segmentation, data, and audiences, there's an argument in the digital space of sort of the death of the taxonomy, that you no longer need to use customer analytics and invest in certain audiences and prepackage those audiences and then ship them around. That's over. The new days are real-time segmentation based off of media bid requests, right, coming from publishers in real time, and then the machines will find the most efficient path, and it will find your most efficient customer, and it will just optimize. We don't disagree, but we think that's a tactic. We're just not super confident in a large institution, a large bank, saying we're going to put our entire media strategy in the hands of a black box LLM, where we can't pull the data out, we don't know how what our best tactics are, and then we have to then rely on this third-party LLM or the agent built on top of the LLM for our entire strategy. We just don't see that. We do see it as a tactic they should all use, but not the foundation.
Yeah, yeah. I think for one of the things we're seeing too is that there's a lot of opportunity now for optimization on the fly, where a lot of our clients would want, like, hey, we want a persona, and we want to make sure that persona is stable, and we want to keep reusing that persona. Now, depending upon what the goal of the interaction you're having, they want the ingredients. So they don't want our cake anymore. They want the butter and the eggs. So then as they start seeing an interaction going in a different direction than they thought, or a new need, they can build on the fly to address those needs. So it's kind of just-in-time optimization.
Right.
And I think we're just at really the start of that. But once it becomes like every day, it's going to take a lot of weight off of trying to build those models that have to perform, in multiple situations. So you can kind of fine-tune your operations then for every distinct possibility when you need it. Okay. Go to some forward-looking statements. First, what are the best or effective demand generation strategies you've seen work? And Sarah, let's start with you.
I mean, for us, it's our webinars that are best strategy for us. So I have my numbers here. Brokers who attend a webinar bind with us 1.65 times more. They quote, they quote 200, and their bind values are 215% higher. So that one is, a no-brainer. So in terms of, what to do next, our webinars, we get probably around 600 attendees average this year, registrants average this year. So moving next, because we're a niche, we're selling cyber insurance through a broker channel, right? It's not like a massive audience, but what I'll be looking to do is more like what you would call customer marketing, right? So that rewards, recognition, how do we grow the account size, right? Okay, we're getting 2 binds from them a year. Okay, well, how do we make it 4, right? So that's what we'll be moving towards, because we don't have a lead generation problem. We're firing stuff out, but now it's okay, well, how do we keep them engaged and bring them back in and grow the book?
Yeah. Yep. One thing I'd add, and maybe not an overall strategy, but to focus on quality, like I mentioned earlier, you can try to have the most kind of efficient and successful operations, but data is always going to impact your ability to perform. We want to try to keep the ceiling as high as we can, though, so inform you with data that's going to work, and it's not going to then negatively impact your performance. So sometimes more data isn't always better. If you've got some data that's working really well, you can start to actually degrade your performance if you keep adding something to the mix. So, we did have 1 or 2 more questions, but I see that we're running out of time, and we want to leave time open for questions from everybody in the room. So the room is now yours. Do you have any questions for us?
Yeah.
Okay, up front.
What have you found to be the most reliable signals for predicting sales readiness?
Yeah, oh, sorry, I'm assuming it was for me because of about the lead scoring. But I would say it is our webinars attending right now. That has the highest value in the lead scoring model right now. And then when I go and I look at our individual tactics, another stat I didn't say, but essentially it was anybody in our database who is marketing influence versus not, those who are marketing influence, they submit more binds to us, and then they have higher bind values. That would be the culmination of all the data points. But yeah, webinars and also events, again, specifically in trades, right? And I think for us, this isn't, lead scoring per se, but we're trying to say people are coming to our events, we're bringing them into our database. How do we create more meaningful experiences at the booth, right? So that they're not just coming for the swag, right? How do we make them more sales ready when we follow up with them? So that's a strategy we're thinking through. And yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Any other question? Question back here?
Oh, thank you. This question comes back to something you said, Paul, about eliminating higher up in the funnel and, filtering. Can you give us more insights in how you do that?
Yeah.
Because I
So-
love the comment.
Okay,
Yeah,
awesome.
thank
Thank you.
you.
I'll pay you later.
Yeah.
So I've spent, the past 20 years or so in ad tech and past 10, 15 years in programmatic. So it's like real-time buying and selling. And so you really can take advantage of all these additional signals that are coming through. But there's just a ton of noise. Historically, you have a buying platform on the in programmatic on the buy side calls it DSP, Trade Desk, Amazon, etc. They're fantastic platforms, right? But they have self constraints and other constraints as far as how much signal they can listen to for a cost perspective. And then in the end, they have, every bidder has its own algorithm, and that algorithm, the more it listens to, like to Ian's point, sometimes too much data comes in, and it takes it longer to optimize, and it can dilute it, right? So what we've done and what we found success with is, instead of waiting at your DSP to sort of listen to all that signal and then make its decision, we go, okay, well, let's go higher up in the supply chain to the SSP, which represents the publishers, right? And let's insert the data there, right? And then let's also do the media curation up there. So you're saying, okay, I want this exact type of media in these geos, but I only want the ad to even come to my DSP if it fits this segment, right? So then what comes down to the DSP, it has less decisions to make, right? And it's optimizing on pre-filtered water. The analogy we often use is, it's just, think of spring water. You have a choice of filtering it at the spring, or you can filter it sort of at your tap using like a Brita, right? Historically, it's been at the tap, and you have to have everything come through. Go to the spring, everything that comes through is fresh water, if you will. I don't know if that made sense, but
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're at time. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Paul. They're available now for autographs and pictures. And that's our panel for today. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
thank you.